I have a business called The Yoga Family, which I founded with my sister 5 years ago. And there's a team of 3 of us that work together. It's myself, my sister Jane, and my sister's fiance Victor. And the 3 of us are all yoga teachers. We're all meditation teachers and breathwork teachers. And we are basically just very interested in helping people to get healthier and happier and look after themselves in physical health, mental health, emotional health, and to just help people improve the quality of life. For me personally, I used to be a nurse, so I was an A&E nurse at Stepping Hill, and I actually worked as a community nurse in Glossop and then in Ashton for a while, and then I was a nurse in Australia as well. And when I was a nurse, I was very, very stressed. I was suffering with depression, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I was on medication for depression, medication for anxiety. And eventually, through my work as a nurse, I actually had a lower back injury. And it was that really got me into yoga. So I went to yoga with this really bad back. I was in excruciating pain. I had sciatica. I had a disc injury. I was struggling with my mental health. And I started doing yoga, and literally within 10 days, I just felt lighter. My pain had reduced. My mental health had improved. I felt a bit happier. I felt just more confident, and I just immediately knew that I needed to learn more about it. So I actually gave up nursing completely, and I moved to Hong Kong and I trained as a yoga teacher in Hong Kong. I actually lived in Hong Kong for 2 years and I taught yoga there. And then basically my little sister Jane was kind of inspired by me kind of quitting my day job and setting up my own business. And she said, right, I'm going to train too. So Jane and Victor, her fiance, went to Thailand and they trained as yoga teachers as well. So we spent a few years all teaching around Asia, which was fantastic. But we got to a point where we realised that where yoga is needed the most is back home in Tameside, which is where I'm from. We're from Hyde. So we came back home and set up the Yoga Family and started teaching here, because it was lovely travelling around and teaching on beaches and all this kind of stuff. But I think you've got to look at where do people really need this. And obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, in our community, we have so many health issues, so many people with back injuries being one of the most common injuries that we see. Such a big problem with mental health, depression, anxiety, suicide rates, all on the rise. And yoga is this amazing, powerful tool to support people and to make people healthier, happier, and to help give people the tools to look after their health. So that's why we came back to Manchester and we set up the Yoga Family, and we've been teaching here now for 5 years, and we basically will teach anybody that will listen to us. So we'll teach anybody of any age, any ability, and we will cater every class to the person that needs it. So if somebody comes to us with significant health injuries, or if they've got mental health issues, we will create a tailored class for them to give them exactly what they need. So we offer group stuff as well. So we offer group classes, and that's all online. And then we offer private tuition for people that's more tailored and more individualised. And then, as you mentioned on our website, we offer meditation and breathwork. And the kind of beauty of meditation and breathwork is that this is accessible to anybody. So even if somebody has got significant physical health issues and limitations with regards to movement, if you're here and you can breathe, you can do breathwork, you can do meditation. And breathwork is really, really powerful because it basically hacks into your nervous system and can bring your nervous system into a state where it's regulated, as opposed to where you're spiking into depression and anxiety. So it's extremely powerful for mental health and for physical health as well. And meditation as well, helping people learn how to calm their minds down and help people learn how to listen to the thought and to become more compassionate and loving towards themselves. Meditation is why we teach that, really.
I noticed that you offer trauma-sensitive yoga. I was wondering why you decided to offer that, and also what is included in that.
So I have quite a significant history myself with a personal trauma. So I was abused as a child. So I went through a lot of abuse throughout my early years and into my early adolescence. I had a lot of depression, as I mentioned. I went through a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. And yoga really helped me personally to process some of that trauma and to let go of some of the feelings that I was carrying. It helped me find a place where I felt better. So I actually, as I mentioned before, I used to take medication for depression and anxiety, and now I don't take any medication at all, and I feel very healthy, very well inside myself. I'm very happy internally, and I have a really nice quality of life. Now, I'm 34 now. When I was in my early 20s, I never thought that would be possible. That's the reason, really, that Jane and myself decided to train in Yoga for Trauma. What we do with the trauma-sensitive classes is we offer, again, a very tailored class for people that have been through significant trauma. So we're not a therapist, so we don't process the trauma with them. We don't talk about the trauma with them. But what we do is we teach people the tools that can help them to calm their bodies, self-soothe, so they can start to feel that if they are reliving the trauma, that they can feel that they've got the resources to soothe themselves and calm themselves. We teach them how to reconnect to the physical body, because when you go through trauma, you often dissociate and disconnect from the body. So when you do trauma-sensitive yoga, it helps you to create a connection against the physical body where you can know that to be in the physical body is a safe place to be. And we teach people how to relax, because if you have been through a lot of trauma, and, we've all been through trauma at different degrees. So, some people come to see us because, they're struggling with panic attacks. Some people come to see us because they've been through abuse. And some people come to see us because they're going through grief. And obviously, where we are right now as a society in the midst of the pandemic, we're all going through very significant stressful times. So having these tools, trauma-sensitive ways of approaching yoga is really, really important. And I think that, well, for me, I think everybody should be doing yoga. Everybody needs this in their life, because the beautiful thing about yoga is that the skills of this are already within us. So we're building these internal skills to breathe properly, to calm the body, to calm the mind. And it becomes not just something that you do on a yoga mat for an hour once a week. It becomes a way of living. So every day you know that when you meet a stressful situation, you know how to calm yourself down. So the trauma-sensitive yoga is big, and I think that's something that off the back of the pandemic, more people are going to need. So we're really passionate about supporting people when they've been through trauma. Like I said, we have limitations. We're not therapists. So sometimes our service will come in line with some therapeutic support as well. For some people, they'll have a counsellor or therapist as well. But, we've supported people through some very difficult times. And in this past 12 months, we've been supporting our community online and supporting them to cope with what's happened, because this has been traumatic for all of us, hasn't it? It's been really intense. So our service, if anything, it's felt even more important this past 12 months, because we really know that we need to keep showing up every day and helping people to feel calm. And the feedback that we get is so positive. People say, I'm so glad that you're here, and that you've, just come into that Monday night breathwork session. It just keeps me feeling calm. It helps me get through my week. So yeah, it's a really valuable service.
I think because life is so fast-paced at the minute, I think it's amazing to have something to just ground you and bring you back to that natural way of being, rather than be so fast all the time in your mind.
Absolutely. And I think you've summed it up so well there. That is the natural way of being, because I think we've been conditioned to believe that we need to run through life like it's a race, and it's not a race. We don't need to try to rush and do more all the time. If anything, we need to slow down and calm down. I always think calm is like a superpower. If you can be calm, you can deal with stress, you can deal with life. But if you rush too fast through life, which the majority of people do, and that's not because of a personal fault in anybody, that's because of the society that we live in. The society we live in is always telling us, do more, do more work, get a bigger house, get a better car. It's always about more. And the yoga practice is really saying to us, just get back to what's really important. And I mean, for me personally, what's really important is my health. If we don't have our health, if if we don't have our mental health, what do we have? Can't enjoy life if you don't have your mental health. So for me, it slows us down, and it connects us back to what's really valuable. And it is actually, like you said, it's our natural state. We've become so disconnected as humans from the natural state that we need to be in. And that's what yoga's doing. Yoga's saying, let's slow down, let's calm down and get you back to the natural pet place within you that feels calm and able to cope.
Well, I think it is really important to just bring yourself back to that, not put so much pressure on yourself to achieve a certain amount of things like everyone else has, and just to take life in your own hands, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And this is where yoga is different from, say, another physical sport, because obviously in a yoga practice we do move through postures, but in a sport it can become a competitive practice. You know, it's about achieving more and doing better and showing what the body can do. And yoga, you know, don't let Instagram fool you, because Instagram can sometimes be misleading and make us think that yoga is about these big grand postures, but it's not. It's not a competitive sport. Yoga is about listening to the body. It's about learning to love your body and nurture your body and care for your body. So it's a different practice. Like, physical movement is great as well. Of course, any movement, you know, running, walking, getting to the gym, anything, CrossFit, whatever you like doing is great. The difference with yoga is that it is a practice of self-care, all about self-care. It's not competitive. You're not trying to prove anything in the postures. You're just trying to look after your body. And movement is a part of looking after the body, and that is why we move through postures. It's to bring the body into a state of health so the body can function in an optimal state.
I think that's so important what you said then about how it's completely different to competitive sports. It's actually a practice where your benefit is off yourself rather than benefiting achievements or getting a certain goal. It's actually learning about yourself.
And it's often misunderstood, because I think, like I mentioned then with like Instagram, and you know, if you kind of take some of these platforms and you look at how yoga is shown on there, we see yoga as, you know, the ability to be able to do a handstand or the ability to be super flexible and stretchy. It's not about that, and it's often misunderstood. It's nothing to do with that. It's about being healthy and well in body, in mind and in spirit. The postures are such a small element of the practice, and they're a very valuable element of practice, but they're not everything. And I think the way that we really teach is about, we want people to feel well. We want people to feel healthier. We want people to feel calmer. So we do teach postures, and we will sometimes teach some fancy postures so people get a challenge to work towards. But that's not the main aim of the way we teach. We want people to leave that class and feel healthier and happier and calmer. We believe as a business that creates a positive ripple effect, because then that person will leave the yoga mat or they'll leave the meditation and they'll feel better. So then they'll be in a better state to deal with stress. They'll connect better with the family and the friends and the kids. And while we're all in the midst of this crazy time, that can create a real shift. You know, if we can just get people looking after themselves and get them healthier, you know, that ripple effect is massive.
If anybody wanted to contact you and get involved with the services you offer, how could they go about doing that?
So the best way is through the website, which is just www.theyogafamily.com, and everything is on there. We have a weekly schedule of classes, so we actually have classes every day of the week. So we'll have a vinyasa class, where we'll flow through postures. We have a lovely mellow flow class on a Friday evening, which is nice and slow and really restorative for people that maybe want to move a bit slower if they're feeling stressed, or if you've got injuries, that can be a nice class to do. And I have a Monday meditation class as well, where we do some meditation, some calming breath work that's really relaxing, and some deep relaxation. Most people come to that in the pajamas, so it's just like, and we're happy, you know, people can have the camera on, camera off, it's up to you. And all of our classes are just on a drop-in basis. And then we run some lovely workshops as well, so every so often we'll run a workshop that'll go a little bit deeper. And then alongside the yoga, I also work as an energy worker, so I'm a Reiki master. So I teach people how to look at their energy and look at their chakras and look how to heal themselves through energy work. And I actually teach people how to channel energy for themselves and actually offer treatments to other people. So that's kind of another element of what we offer as a service as well.